So the first of the 5 books of the Torah, Genesis, Bereshit, comes to an end. But it's such a sad ending. The last passage tells us that Yosef, died at the age of 110, and they embalmed him, and they placed him in a coffin in Egypt. Roadies, come on in, turn off the lights, clear the stage, get ready for Act 2. Now maybe I'm an incurable romantic, but I would have preferred a happier ending to the great book of Genesis. Maybe even a musical number, something to lift our spirits. And maybe that's really what's going on at the end. Maybe it is a happy message. Just before his death, Yosef called his brothers in, and they greeted him on his deathbed, and he told them, remember, God will definitely take us up out of this land, and he'll bring us to the land that he promised to Abraham and to Isaac and to our father Jacob. And when he does that, I want you to promise me that you'll bring my bones with you. Now at the time, Yosef was the ruler of Egypt. Second, if even that, in command only to Pharaoh, couldn't he have issued a royal proclamation or made his brothers swear that at the time of his death, they would take his body and bury him in Israel, just like they had done for their father Jacob? But he didn't do that. Maybe he was sending them a message. Guys, I'm the sheriff around these here parts. And as long as I'm around, Pharaoh's not going to start up with you. But once I'm gone, all bets are off. Things can get ugly quickly. But I'm not going to abandon you. My bones are staying here. And I'm telling you, God's not going to abandon you either. He's going to be with us, and he's going to take us to the promised land. And so during that slavery, which of course did happen, as we see in next week's Torah portion, a new king arose over Egypt who didn't know Yosef and who enslaved the Jews. But during those backbreaking years, the Jews were able to look at the Egyptians and say, you may break our bodies, but you won't break our spirits, because we know. Just as Yosef was supremely confident that he allowed his bones, his body, to be placed in an Egyptian sarcophagus instead of being taken for burial in Egypt, because he knew that God was going to remember us and take us out, we're just as confident. We know we're going to get saved and we're going to get out of this place. And sure enough, years later at the time of the Exodus, Moses himself goes and finds those bones, takes them with the Jewish people in an aron, in an ark. And that ark sits next to another ark, the ark containing the holy tablets. And when they eventually make it into Israel, they bury Joseph's bones there. And so maybe that is our happy message of hope at the end of Genesis. Yosef's message from beyond the grave, the message to his brothers, to the Jewish people, to us, that God always keeps his promises.